evaluated certain important Islamic concepts, especially focusing on the true meaning of jihad. Because 90% of the times that we may use the term jihad, we mean the daily struggles in life. Jihad for education, jihad for work, jihad at the family level, the community, contribution to the community. These are really the daily struggles, and these are jihad. The biggest jihad, as we mentioned, is the spiritual war, which is internal against our ego, arrogance, greed, selfishness, jihad al-nafs. And the external jihad sometimes means fighting, but fighting for establishment of justice and to stop aggression and oppression. So we continue from this word of justice that we talk about. In one sense, justice means moderation and establishment of balance. And that is the foundation of an ideal Muslim society, is based on justice. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. Allah is saying that we made you an ummah, number one. And secondly, ummatan wasata, a balanced community, a just community, a moderate community. Wasat means that is not in either extremism. That means there is a balance between a dunya wal akhirah, between the body and the soul. If the direction of the Judaism was more focusing on the dunya and Christianity was more focusing on the akhirah, so Islam is justice, is balance between this material and spiritual world. It has both of them. So the concept of ummah and being wasat means be moderate and be balanced. Kuntum khayra ummatin. Another verse says that أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر وتؤمنون بالله. That was the desire of Allah, that make you the best society. How you can be a moderate society and also a best society in a sense of al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy anil-munkar, that you are responsible to promote what is good and to prevent what is wrong. Al-amr wal-nahy doesn't mean the interference in somebody's personal life. It means that we are responsible to stop evil in the society. Because in this dunya we live as a community. When we die, we are just alone by ourselves, right? There is no community in the graves. We are just, as the Quran says, وَكُلُّهُمْ آتِيهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ فَرْدًا. When you are raised before Allah, you are alone. Nobody is responsible for anybody. But in this dunya, you are like a community, and everybody is responsible for what is going on. In akhirah, وَكُلُّ إِنسَانٍ أَلْزَمْنَاهُ طَائِرَهُ فِي عُنُقِهِ وَنُخْرِجُ لَهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ كِتَابًا يَلْقَاهُ مَنْشُورًا. Quran says on that day, everybody has his ID over his neck, like everything that we did, all the actions. And we have our memoir, the biography, like a book, Kitab al-Manshura. We look at it and everything is there. Subhanallah. When I even think about that, it's really so scary that you look at your biography on the Day of Judgment, and all the report is there, Kitaban Manshura. You can see all the details there, and it's so scary. يوم لا ينفع مال ولا بنون إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. That is what matters on the Day of Judgment, قلب سليم. But in this dunya, we are not just by ourselves. We live as a society, and we are responsible to support what is right and to stop what is wrong. And this is why when adab come, اتقوا فتنة لا تصيبن الذين ظلموا منكم خاصة, when punishment is come, the whole society is in danger. It's not just those who are guilty, but everybody. Because even those who are not guilty, they are guilty of not working to correct the community. So this is the responsibility of being ummatan wasata, and to be the best ummah, a moderate ummah, and also the best ummah. Feeling this obligation that the moral authority of the society matters. If the society is not moral, then we all have problems. We all fail. We all fail. And when a country or civilization fails, it's not because of just lack of money or lack of military. The most important in collapse of communities is the lack of akhlaq. When the moral authority dies, community collapse. As Ahmad Shawqi, he said it beautifully, هذا الشاعر المصري: وإنما الأمم الأخلاق ما بقيت فإنهم ذهبت أخلاقهم ذهبوا. He said that the societies, they operate based on akhlaq. When akhlaq dies, the community dies. So now the Quran says that the foundation is justice, adalah. But then there are branches, and there are distinctions of a society that's identified as the best. When Allah says خير أمة أو أمة وسطا, what are some of the characteristics of the best ummah? Well, one of the characteristics is in Surah Al-Hujurat: يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. This is one of the distinctions of the Khair Ummah, that we created you with all this diversity, different race, different identities, different colors. لتعارفوا, then you know each other, then you understand each other. And you understand the fact that إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ, your virtues, your values make you closer to God. So really the issue is not your race, is not your tribe, but your taqwa. So turning from tribal traditions to taqwa traditions, that makes you khair ummah. So that is number one, at-taqwa. Another virtue of a community to be best ummah, the Quran says, is al-ilm. يَرْفَعِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. If you have ilm, you have darajat. It's interesting that amanu, first your faith, and then utul ilm, your knowledge. Al-ilm wal-iman, they come together in the Quran. There is another verse, وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ وَالْإِيمَانَ. Those who receive the iman, the faith and knowledge, they are coming together. Because it's dangerous to have knowledge without faith and have faith without knowledge. Both problematic. And when the Quran talks about ilm, it's not just ilm shakiyat salat or how to make wudu. I mean, these are simple things that everybody should know. Also science. Because some people say that, well, you do Islamic studies, like some of these mashayikh or ru'ad salatin, they think that because they know a few hadith from Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, then they are allamatul dahr, they know everything. And then Einstein and Edison, they are nothing. Their ilm is not ilm. What are you talking about? I mean, that ilm is more difficult to learn than hadith, right? I mean, everybody can go and memorize some hadith. But no, they think that now they have knowledge that they can now interfere. I heard one of these mashayikh of Saudiya, this Sheikh Bandar al-Khaybar, he was talking that, and he was talking even in a university in Dubai. He's saying that it is wrong to think that the earth is orbiting the sun. It's opposite. The earth is stationary, the earth doesn't move. It is sun that's, can you imagine in 21st century, somebody is denying and saying that, and now he says, and the reason is that if you travel from Georgia to China, then how can you travel if the earth is moving, you are moving, you never get to China. So like he's thinking that now he really discovered something that even Einstein didn't discover. Like nobody realized what he realizing, that now how come that you can move if the earth is moving? And he doesn't think that the earth is moving, the atmosphere is moving with the earth as well. It's not just earth. But now he is talking about something, Qurun al-Wusta, and he is talking before Galilei, that's what they, believe, 1,000 years ago. And now he is saying the same thing, because he thinks that he has a kind of knowledge that nobody has. Now when Quran talks about knowledge, is a knowledge of religion and also science, all kind of science. What are you talking? When Allah says, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا, you think Asma, yani Asma'ullah, those 99 names, everybody can go and memorize those. I mean, you think that the angels don't know about those 99 names? Only Adam knows? I mean, what is the big deal about that? وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا means Allah gave the capacity, استعداد to Bani Adam, that they can learn all the knowledge, the secrets of all the sciences. And this potential is not with the angels. The angels cannot know all of these things. You can ask an angel to make like a 777, like this Boeing 777, that they, isn't it amazing, subhanAllah? One airplane taking like 500 passengers from here to the Middle East, 500 people, 10,000 miles flight without a stop. What is this? This Boeing was made by the brain of human being. This means of transportation is just amazing. And this is human knowledge. Yeah, this is a human brain. Instead of hostaging people and say we are going to behead this hostage if you don't give us $1 million. But another brain is coming and making that Boeing 777 and sell it for $300 million, and everybody are begging to buy it. This is human brain. But those juhal and stupid, they don't understand it. وَأُوتُوا الْعِلْمَ دَرَجَاتٍ. Now they are talking about self-drive car. In few years, you program the car, you don't have to do anything. You just sit down and like GPS, you program the car and just goes to destination. This is a knowledge. So it's not only knowledge of religion. When it says, أُطْلُبُ الْعِلْمَ وَلَوْ بِالسِّينِ, in China at that time they did not teach about religion. It was all about science. And the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, it's wajib to go and learn. So the second quality of the khayr ummah is the ummah of al-ilm. Ummah of ilm. And brothers and sisters, really this is our responsibility. We have this ilm in this country. There are a lot of people who die to come to the United States to learn, and they can't. And then our children, my children and your children are here, and sometimes they are spoiled. Doesn't it hurt to see that youth from this community, they are taken to emergency rooms because they are using drugs, and they had opportunity to be like this Rashid Hussein, despite of all of this Islamophobia. Isn't it the point of pride that President Obama is appointing Rashid Hussein? He signed yesterday the executive order. This guy whose father is Muhammad Hussein, this guy who came from India with his wife Ruqayya, and he's another Hussein close to the White House. And now the Republicans may try to stop it. It may not happen, but doesn't matter. It's already there. Regardless, it shows that despite of Islamophobia, when a man like this Rashid Hussein, when they go and they learn, they go to Harvard University, to other universities, and to Yale University, and they get graduated and they get education. No matter what, they get opportunity. Even in the war situation, they have this opportunity. So this is something that we need to take it very seriously. That education is an Islamic obligation. What is it that our kids, they want to get get money through what? Through gambling and through haram stuff? While we have all these opportunities of education and science and learning right stuff and become millionaire as well. I think we as parents, we have a very serious responsibility, because even when we do our best, still our children, not all of them are in Sirat al-Mustaqim. No matter what we do, still we have problem. What if we don't try? That's going to be even worse. That's going to be even worse. I know that some people, they are guilty now as a fun in our community. I see sometimes mashayikh, they sit down and they are guilty. We have great international speakers, they come and they go and sit down with every... I'm not saying it's haram, although like, you know, if you follow Sayyid Abdullah, Allah yarhamah, we said it's haram, cigarette is haram, argil is haram. But I'm saying that we are not really sending the best message for the new generation when we just sit down there and smoke argili, even if it is fun. And I don't want to hurt anybody. I know that I love you, and many of my friends, they are doing it. Sometimes they sit in the basement. I don't know how that works, to sit down in the basement, 10 people in the basement, and they are argili in the basement. You know, may Allah save them now. That is something I don't understand at all. But I think, honestly, we need to have a pattern. Because even when we talk day and night about prayer, about knowledge, still our children, sometimes they are going different ways and directions. But if we don't do that, it's going to be even worse. So we are very responsible. Allah gave us this opportunity. Yes, Islamophobia is there. There is no doubt about that. But still, we have better chance than those youth who live in many Muslim countries. We have better opportunity. You know, in the past, the ulama, they used to divide the world to Dar al-Islam and Dar al-Harb. You remember? They used to say that Dar al-Islam is a place that the Muslims are majority, and they can practice their religion peacefully without problem. But Dar al-Harb is an area that the Muslims are minority, and they are living with the enemies, and because of that, if they cannot practice their religion in Dar al-Harb, it is wajib for them to move to Dar al-Islam. Now things are opposite. Now Dar al-Islam, bibarakat al-Saud now, bibarakat al-Saud, you know, Dar al-Islam turned to Dar al-Harb, And Dar al-Harb turned to Dar al-Islam. It's opposite. Now the Muslims who live in Muslim countries, they have to move to non-Muslim countries to be able to practice the religion. That is absolutely embarrassing. Isn't it embarrassing that now the European Union yesterday or day before yesterday, they met and they urged for an arms embargo against Saudi Arabia. I mean, the same country are selling bombs to Saudi, now they are saying it's too much. It's too much. The Saudis are killing civilians, and that is not right. And they ask the European countries not to sell arms to Saudi anymore. Although England, since this war started in Yemen, so far they sold $3 billion arms to Saudi Arabia. Despite of this big business, because it's so criminal and too much, now they are saying that it is wrong. We have to stop it. We don't have to. Those people, they are in need of bread. We are sending them bombs. What is going on? It's shameful that the non-Muslims are saying this, the government. But then the Muslim countries, they are supporting that crime. Not only their politicians, but religious leaders, they are supporting the Saudis' crime in Syria, in Iraq, in Yemen. So Dar al-Islam is Dar al-Harb and Dar al-Harb is Dar al-Islam. Everything is changed now. As I mentioned last time, they are worried about democracy in Syria. When was the last time the Saudis they went for election? At least now in Iran today, subhanallah, if you follow the news, it's like a big revolution. Everybody is there to vote, from Tehran, big cities, villages, mountains, all over. Even some of those brothers who were rejected, and I find it unjust and unfair, but still, the September Imam al-Khomeini was the first one to go and vote in the morning. Because they love the Islamic Republic. They love their country. If they have any criticism, sometimes is out of their support and love, not their hate. Because they care a lot if they criticize sometimes. But now that is day of election, everybody is there. They had to extend the time of voting another 2-3 hours. Because now over there is 8-9 p.m. They said, let us continue voting till 9-10 p.m. Because the whole day people were voting and still it's not done. This is election. When did we have this democracy in Saudi? Last time they were voting for women. That women can, all of a sudden, women can vote in Saudi Arabia. That was a big revolution. But then women, they cannot drive to go to vote station, right? I mean, how you want to go and vote if you cannot drive? And then their husband, they didn't want to take them either. So they ended up that nobody could vote. I mean, that is the result at the end of the day. So brothers and sisters, when we talk about ummatan wasata, when we talk about khayr ummah, justice is the foundation, but the virtue of taqwa and the virtue of knowledge, ulul ilm darajat, and finally another distinction of the ummah, which is the best, is al-jihad. You know, in Surah An-Nisa, in one verse, Allah mentions two times it says, فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ عَلَى الْقَاعِدِينَ. In one verse, he says it twice. فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ بِأَمْوَالِهِمْ وَأَنفُسِهِمْ عَلَى الْقَاعِدِينَ دَرَجَةً. And the same verse continues, فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ الْمُجَاهِدِينَ عَلَى الْقَاعِدِينَ أَجْرًا عَظِيمًا. Subhanallah. That Allah gives this distinction and this honor to the people of jihad, not the terrorists, not the ISIS, the real mujahideen, those who are doing jihad al-nafs, wa jihad al-fikr, wa jihad al-lisan, wa jihad al-qalam, wa jihad al-mal, wa jihad al-usra, wa jihad al-da'wah. وجهاد المادي والمعنوي، وجهاد ضد الظلم، وجهاد ضد الجهل، وجهاد ضد الفقر والفساد، وجهاد ضد الطغيان والاستكبار. All kinds of jihad and struggle with your knowledge, with your pen, with your writing, with your property, with your activities, with your invitation, with your family. Your jihad against ignorance, against arrogance, against corruption, against poverty, against tughyan, against evil, against shaitan. This is the message that we have to take to this new generation, that our religion is religion of reason, religion of al-aql, wal-jihad, wal-ilm, wal-taqwa. But then you may want to say that, so Quran say all of these things. Where can we find this community? Where is this community and society of خير أمة? أين أمة وسطا? Where can we find a Muslim community of full of ilm, wa taqwa, wal jihad? Where is it? Well, the Quran talks about an ideal society. It doesn't mean that all these qualities are there in reality, but they are the ideal. This is the desire of divine. This is the Quran. If you want to know what is the Muslim community, this is what the Quran says. Now, if you go in reality, of course we have shortcomings, and that is our struggle, that is our jihad to make it happen. Allah says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Where is that? Allah says, وَلَا تَنَازَعُوا فَتَفْشَلُوا وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ. Where is it? Be united, don't fight. Because when you fight, you fail. When you fail, you finish. This is what the Quran says, وَتَذْهَبَ رِيحُكُمْ. Where is the Quran? وَإِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. The believers are brothers. Well, if it doesn't exist, we have to make it. We must bring this to existence. And we must start from our masajid. The masjid is the center of the city that we get together and we get this education and we work on this education and we transfer this to the new generations and we make change in the society. This is why the Christians, they take their church so seriously. There was something in the news just recently that a lady of 84 years old, she received a letter from her church and they told her that since you didn't show up recently in the church, you are not member anymore, and if you died, your body cannot be buried next to your husband to the cemetery that belongs to the church. Seriously, they wrote and signed a letter and sent it to her. It was in the news even. That means that they take it seriously. I was in downtown Detroit. There was a church just a few days ago. I gave a lecture. For an hour and a half, I was talking and answering the question. And still, these people so thirsty of knowledge, they want to continue. I said, well, I have to go. There was another service that I had to attend, and I couldn't stay longer. But they wanted to continue with that much atash of ilm and al-haqiqah. They want to learn about the truth. They hear a lot about Islamophobia, things about Islam and Muslim. They want to know the truth. So they take it seriously. I saw these people all over the area. They met in such a cold day in downtown Detroit for the discussion. Inshallah, we are going to have something similar here tomorrow at 6:30. That's for interfaith. And I'd like to invite you, and also especially if you have a non-Muslim neighbor, to invite them. The message is open for everyone, and we are ready to have a dialogue and answer all questions about Islam. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. We have to start this best ummah and khair ummah. We have to start it from education that we get from the masjid and we get from Salat al-Jum'ah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal asri inna al-insana lafi khusr. إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر وإلى الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر. السلام عليكم.